Well, good evening, everybody. This is John Unell, aka John I Fly, from Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania. It's Saturday evening, July 17th, and thought I'd do a short rant tonight. Hope everybody is handling the heat, if it's indeed hot where you are living. And let's keep the people in mind out in the western part of the United States, and I guess Canada is still going through the heat wave too. I'm not sure, Western Canada. Let's hope they get rain soon. So, I've been listening on the news concerning the pandemic. Now, who would have thought, I guess it would have been the beginning of this year, or the end of last year, that we'd be worried about the pandemic coming back again. Well, really, the COVID pandemic never really left us. It's been around irregardless, but people were getting vaccinated. And the message was getting out. Not so much under Trump, but when our President Biden took over, which he's doing a hell of a job, by the way. And he mentioned, and it's actually common sense when you think about it, if you're vaccinated, you're protected against getting COVID very seriously. And you would definitely avoid going to the hospital and risking death. But here it is, July 17th, 2021. And from what I see in the news, all 50 states are climbing back up with the COVID cases. Yes, that's right, people. Just when we thought things were going down and people were getting the message, and the promise of finally being able to go out again and enjoy life as it was pre-pandemic, that went out the window. Just heard today that in Los Angeles, they're going to, I believe it's Los Angeles County or the city of Los Angeles, I'm not sure which, but they're reinstating the wearing of masks again. Well, why is that? Well, I guess the U.S. Surgeon General says it best. I'm going to read here. It's from U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy. And he said that misinformation about the COVID-19 poses, and I quote, imminent and insidious threat to our nation's health. So how did we get into this, to this point anyway? Well, it's because people, there are a lot, well, I shouldn't say people in general, but a certain type of people, and may I say it's the GOP and the Trump base and followers. They're the ones that are saying misleading information, totally incorrect information. Then we really don't need the vaccine. I mean, what the hell? The United States, after all, we're a free country. We have our rights. We shouldn't have to take the virus if we don't want to. And basically they politicized it. Well, now we have it. And according to what the U.S. Surgeon General was talking about, he said information which he basically said misinformation was shared which promoted vaccine hesitancy. People are hearing stuff, they don't check it out, see whether it's true or not, and they believe it and they say, well, I'm not going to go get vaccinated. And then they have it. It's like what the president said, I believe it was yesterday. He said that the hesitancy, the people that are not getting vaccinated, that's where the pandemic is. It's a pandemic among the unvaccinated. And he did mention Facebook too. Said Facebook's to blame for allowing this misinformation to get put on their site. So that needs to be dealt with. But this hesitancy to not get the vaccine, it threatens to prolong the pandemic at a time when the Delta variant continues to spread across America. So not only do we have the regular COVID-19, we now have a variant, the Delta variant. So this is what happens. People listen to lies and misinformation. This is what's going to happen. And yeah, it sure is, Mr. President. It's a pandemic among the unvaccinated. But what the hell, that's their right, isn't it? They don't have to get vaccinated. What they don't realize is that when they don't get vaccinated and they can pick up that vaccine, they can spread it to others. I heard the other day it was mentioned, it was either CNN or MSNBC, the unvaccinated are taking they're following the rules of the vaccinated, and you can't do that. If you're not vaccinated, you're totally vulnerable to the virus, people. Totally. I would think that by now, at least all the people that I'm talking to here are vaccinated. And they did say that even though you're vaccinated, you can still pick up COVID-19. But the big difference is you've got some protection in your body, and you won't get as sick as if you didn't have the vaccine. Well, these people that are insisting on not getting vaccinated, this is what's happening to them. They think they know better. And I heard several stories from people who lost a spouse because they just did not want to get vaccinated. Or maybe they wanted to wait to see, this was an FDA approved, they're saying, and, it's taking a risk in taking the vaccine, and we don't know what the results will be. And there you have it. I know I saw one couple where the wife lost her husband after they get sick. Oh, I wished I would have taken the vaccine. I think he did take it, but it was too late. He was already infected and he was starting to decline. That's what happens. It's a shame. Something that can be totally avoided. And here people are insisting on not getting vaccinated, and then they get sick and die. You don't have to die, people. If you haven't got vaccinated yet, get vaccinated. So anyway, we're also talking about John Lewis. He passed away a year ago today. And I'll tell you what, a man who really, really fought for equal rights. John Lewis is one of them. And we remember his loss. And I think it would be a big, big memorial for John Lewis if we pass the Voters' Rights Bill. Now, that seems to be hung up in the Congress. Well, because we have some moderates, and I'm going to put this in quotes, moderates, like Joe Manchin. Oh, They interviewed him today, or the reporters were running after him as he was walking down the hall, and they were asking him questions about it. And anyway, he said, when he was asked about the filibuster situation, he said, what we need to do, both the Democrats and the Republicans, need to work on a bill that both parties can agree to. Don't worry too much about the filibuster. Let's just worry about the legislation that both parties can agree to. The problem is, a lot of the Republicans don't agree with it. Doesn't matter what you come up with, they don't agree with it. And you need at least 10, I believe, you need at least 10 Republicans to come over to pass it. Do you really think that we're going to get 10 Republicans? I believe Joe Manchin said that, oh, well, some of the Republicans are coming around to it. Well, some is not enough. If you don't have 10, the bill's going to go down in defeat. And I'll tell you, well, I was going to say I was going to take my hat off, but it's already off. It's really hot over here tonight. But my hat still goes off to those Texas Democrats that had the balls to come up to Washington and fight it up in Washington. So I believe they did meet with Joe Manchin. Well, we'll see what happens. If Manchin doesn't always tip his hand, well, we'll see. We'll find out. Yeah, okay. But we need to make sure that the voters don't get restricted from voting. The Republicans, not just in Texas, well, we're concentrating on Texas right now, but there's most of the Republican Party, which is under the spell of Donald Trump. You know, if they can restrict voters' rights, especially against minorities like the black community, they'll do whatever they can by restricting hours and doing, you know, making drop boxes like 1 or 2 for how many hundreds of thousands and millions of people to have to vote. It's being done on purpose, people. It's common sense. You know? If they figure they can discourage people from voting, then, I mean, I don't understand the reason. I mean, they think they're just fighting against the Democrats. They're doing it against the Republicans, too. Can put them very much at risk as well. But they're hoping that, well, a lot of the people, you know, they're not going to wait in line and sit for hours and be hungry and thirsty. And, well, now you can't bring them any refreshments. That's not allowed. That's bullshit. Well, anyway, we have got to fight, people. This is not the end. The Republicans are trying everything they can to make it hard to vote. But we've got to overrule them, you know? Show them we can do it. And we mean business, and we need to fight for our rights. More than ever, after what I've seen over the past, especially over the past year, or, you know, when Donnie Trump wanted to sit there and declare that he was the winner and the election was stolen from him and all that bullshit. I've realized that freedom truly is not free. It's got to be fought for. And we had a tyrant, as far as I'm concerned, he was a tyrant in the White House who tried to strip our freedoms away. But he failed. Now we got to look forward to the 2022 elections and the 2024. We can't let Republicans take over the House and Senate. We can't. If you do that, it would be a disaster. So go out and vote when your time comes. I know this year they'll probably be voting for, I would think mayors or something. I'm not sure all that of the offices that are going to be voted for in the November 21 elections. But go out then, too. Go out and vote your conscience. Vote, vote your party. But not just vote the party, vote for the people that you feel have integrity and are qualified to fill the office that they're running for. So anyway, that's about all I have tonight. I wanted to keep it short. Thanks for taking the time to listen. Remember to like, subscribe, and share my videos. And feel free to make a comment. I do enjoy reading those comments that you send me. On YouTube, I can be found under the name John I Fly. It's all small case letters. It's JOHNI. F as in Frank, L as in love, Y. It's just on Yahoo, so it won't be it's not an email, but just John I Fly. Look me up on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. And hopefully I can get another one out soon. It's been a hot week. It's the type of heat, and of course I don't get as hot as they have it over in the West Coast, but it's still draining. You don't feel like doing much of anything. Well, anyway, have a good night. Oh, Facebook. I post on Facebook under the name John R. Unell, my real name. That's U-N as in Nancy, E as in Edwards, 2 L's. That's double L. Unell. Yeah, take time to look it up and share it with others. I'd appreciate that. Okay, you have a good night, and I will talk to you soon, people. Stay safe. If it's hot where you're at, stay cool. And talk to you soon. Good night.